What up, peeps? Mr.Bones back at you for another Dollar Tree Theater, brought to you by Hobbs Horror. We're going to talk about Getaway, starring Jacqueline Betham, Scout Taylor Compton, and Lane Torren. To survive, she must kill. This was another little surprise, like a Dollar Tree gem find. You pick up these random things and you don't know what they are, and they look interesting. Sometimes they're not good, but sometimes they are. Tamara Miller has planned a weekend lake getaway with her two best friends when she gets kidnapped by a backwoods cult. Eerie and unexplained occurrences arise. Will she make it out alive, or become the treasure of these deranged lunatics? This movie has a couple twists in it, and it would be hard for me to not give spoilers. You keep thinking you're watching one thing, and then it turns out to be something else. I was interested in this when I seen it because it said it had Scout Taylor Compton, who we know from Rob Zombie's Halloween. And it has these three girls, and they're just going on like a fun girls trip. And they're heading to this lake or river bend that has a dock on it to hang out, and they're partying, and they're in bikinis and taking shots and drinking, having fun, sharing shots with these local college boys. Meanwhile, before that is the main girl. I guess she's the main girl. They're all three starring in it, but Tamara, I guess. She's heading to meet with the other girls, Scout and the other one, and runs out of gas in her badass Mustang. And these two hillbillies pull over in a truck, acting like perverts, weirdos, creepy fucks. What seems to be the problem, miss? And staring at her, like a creep would. She says, "I'm out of gas. Do you have any?" "Oh, I might. What's in it for me?" It's like, fuck off, dude. And he said, "I'm just kidding." And he goes and gets a can out of his truck and puts gas in it. And while his brother is over on the other side staring at her like a weirdo. And they pull off, and she goes and meets up with the other two. And like I said, they were sharing drinks with these two college boys, and they asked what the girls were doing later. And they said, "Oh, we're going to be hanging out at the local bar later." Which the creeps from the truck must be somewhere lurking around listening, because they show up and order drinks and send them down the bar to the girls that they dropped some kind of white substance in. I guess old saying would be they roofied them. Tamara staggers outside, and they snatch her up, take her home and tie her up in a horse stable hanging from the ceiling. And you got Paul there. I don't know what actor plays him, but he kind of reminded me of Gunnar Hansen, but he's not because we lost him. And you got the two goofy sons. One's name is Gib, I think, and the other's Merle. And they're just saying all this weird shit. They're fucking backwoods rapists. Weird shit about we take these bad girls and we give them our seed, and then they go to heaven and have babies and send angels back down to earth. And Tamara says some shit about we curse men like you, and they're like, "Are you a witch?" And she has them thinking that she's a witch. Meanwhile, you keep seeing random stuff show up, like pentagrams on the ground and stuff, and they're gullible and they start to think she's a witch. And they see witches walking around in white clothes. And here's a twist that somehow the other girl, Scout, and the other one knew where she was and was there to help her. And They're placing pentagrams around, walking around like witches, and I'm going to spoil the movie. By the end of the movie, you have the 3 girls that are there. They've done killed one. They got 2 of them pinned up on crosses, and it turns out these ladies are what you would call, I guess, pervert hunters. They knew about these guys all along, so that's why they was trying to lure them in to try to kidnap one of them so they could kill them. It was a pretty damn good movie. I liked it. And at the very end of the movie, when you think it's off, they show one more scene of the girls hanging out in a room, and Scout says, the other girl, I don't remember her name, says check your email, and the blonde does, and sees a missing posters report, and smiles and looks at Scout and says, girl trip, which means it's time to go pervert hunting again. This is a nice little find. I enjoyed it. That's Scout right there in a white dress and like a half face mask. Yeah, that's my DollarTree theater review for this week. That's what I watched. Peace.